So in Iyengar yoga, the Iyengars, they describe different parts of the body, right? So we can kind of align and work with the different areas. So believe it or not, when most of us think of the groins, what do you think of? Just like right here, right? The groins, and we have those are inner groins, right? But then we also have the back groins where the leg becomes the buttocks. We also have the outer groins. So I want you to start just becoming more aware of the different aspects of the groins. And even in this pose, in Swastikasana, see if get a sense if your groins are going up or down. And if your groins are moving in towards each other or spreading out. So it takes sensitivity, right? So remember, that's what we're trying to cultivate is sensitivity, which is awareness. So to help with that, take your left hand and move that inner right groin down. You can pull the right buttocks flesh out to the side. That's it. And just see if that makes any difference. Do you feel like that right groin is moving down and out? That's what you want. Down. You want down and out groins. Down and out groins, right? So you have to move this left inner groin down and out. So it should spread. We never want our groins to like push, mash together. We want them to move back, or in this case, down and out. And then what about the outer groins? Are they coming up or down? They should go down. So take your thumbs here on those outer groins and move the outer groins, you could say the outer hips. They have to move down and then lift. See how when that's all happening, you can get a lift, can't you? Don't you get a nice lift? Yeah. Roll the shoulders back. Bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes. Take off any glasses. And just take some softer, smoother breaths. Welcome yourself to your practice this morning. Just take this time now. Pause and take this time to take care of yourself with this blessing that we know as yoga. And as you keep those inner groins down, the outer hips down and in, and you keep that extension, you maintain that extension on the sides of the trunk. Lift the breastbone from bottom to top. Bring your outer shoulders back and move your shoulder blades down and in to your back. Let your heart space be like a beautiful chalice, and just welcome your head into your heart. Relax your facial skin, relax your jaw and your tongue, throat. Quiet your eyes. And keeping the crown of your head right over your tailbone, just flow your brain, the brain stuff, the mind stuff, towards the heart. Be settled there. After your next exhalation, have a deeper inhalation. Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaichakena yopa karutam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram Shankha Chakra Sitarinam Sahasra Shirsham Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Lift your chest upwards, bow your head downwards. Feel why you've come here today, that pull that you have to keep yourself well. Release your hands down to your thighs. With your palms upwards, raise your head and gradually open your eyes. Good. And then just check and see that your knees are the same level as your hips. So even if they're slightly higher, sit higher. You know, you want the knees the same exact level as the hips, and then sit further back on whatever you're sitting on. Sit further back and keep those inner groins moving down, outer hips moving down. Bring your hands onto some blocks. If you're on a lot of height and the blocks feel too low, Blossom, you can get a chair, right? Yeah. Otherwise, go forwards with your blocks. If you're really low, you may not need blocks. You can just be on fingertips. Yeah. So look forwards. Yeah. So look forwards. Make sure that you're sitting far enough back on your proppage that your hips, your body weight is not coming forward. You don't want the weight to push into the knees, right? Keep your body weight back. And then press your hands down into the floor or the blocks and look upwards until your back ribs move in. Pull your breastbone away from your navel, move the blocks further forwards, and then let your head come down in between your arms. And just notice if you're greedy for your deepest pose. You know, sometimes we really get attached to the sensation of going really deep. See if you can back off a little bit. Try not to be attached to your deepest pose. There you go. And then just see, once you're forward, can you move those inner groins down? Of course, without your hands. Move the inner groins down. You can always stay in concave back if you need to. Just look upwards. And move the outer hips down. Exhale the breath. Exhale the breath. I'm going to get you some more blocks there, Blossom, because you need 4 blocks if you're on all of that height. That's it. And just see if there's any tightness in your outer hips today or anywhere, really. Maybe it's in your breath. And then bring your blocks back. Switch the cross of your legs. And that's it. Good. And then once again, bring your hands onto the blocks and go forwards. Go all the way forward. So this is called Adho Mukha, downward facing cross legs, or downward facing Svastikasana. Good. So you have a new table there, Tamar. So go forwards, either be on fingertips or blocks. And, you know, the blocks can be at the highest level, the medium level, the lowest level. Just make sure that your upper back is not rounding. So once you have your blocks as far forward as you can, press your hands down and look upwards and get your back ribs to move in so that your front spine can get extended. And of course, we all know that as the concave shape, right? Concave back. And then keep that as much as you can and go forwards. And of course, you're going to lose it to some degree. You have to, but you want to organize that front body extension. Just bring your ears level with your arms. See, is one crossing more challenging than the other crossing? You want to sit super high. So have you tried 2 bolsters, 3 bolsters? Yeah, sit super high and try it on some more croppage. Yeah, let's put this one under there. And then see if you can move those inner groins back and down. Even add this as well. Yes, and the outer hips down. Yes. Is that any better, Marie? Yeah, that's it. So yeah, just make sure to get that. And then come back. Good. Now stretch out your legs, and you can come further forward on your props now, right? Come further forward on your props. Raise your arms upwards. So have your feet a little bit apart, like about as wide as your sitting bones. And just make sure you need to sit higher, Rajiv, right? So if you're, just make sure now when you're in this position, are the groins coming up or are they moving down and out? What is it for you guys? If they're coming up, you have to sit higher, because if they're coming up, what's happening is you're falling back here. And some of you can sit lower, you know, some of you can sit lower, some of you can sit on the floor. So everybody's different. It really depends on if your groins are moving down and apart, and if your lower back is lifting, like your sacrum should feel like it's coming in, it shouldn't be falling back. And then with your arms, lift your lower back lift your middle back, and bring your upper back in as you move your upper arms back. Move your upper arms back. Feel downward facing dog. This is downward dog. Bring your chest further forward. Chest forward, arms back. Chest forward, chest forward, chest forward, arms back. Yes, and then release your arms down. Nice. Now take downward facing dog pose. Take your feet at least as wide as your shoulders, maybe wider, of course. Organize your hands either classically straight or maybe turned out a little bit as needed. And just spread your fingers and get your inner hands to press down. Pull your arms up. Pull your hips up away from your shoulders. And if your heels just drop down because you're so mobile, move your heels further back. Yes. And now feel your groins. Just get a sense of your groins in this position. So in this position, look at your knees. Make sure that the knees are going straight forwards. This arm is bending. And then look at your inner knees. Can you lift from your inner knees up to your inner groins? Lift. First you have to lift, and now move the inner groins back. Move the inner groins back. Yes, really strongly. And then move your outer hips back. Pull those outer hips back. That's the way. Good. And then reach as the hips go back, reach from your shoulders back into the hands. Push the floor away from you. Straighten your arms, have some softer, smoother breaths. And then come down into child's pose. Have the knees apart so that your outer ribs are resting on your inner thighs. And then sit your hips down onto the feet. Put any proppeds you need between the hips and the feet or behind the knees. You can put that roll behind your knees there. And if this isn't doable for anyone, just come up and put your hands on a wall or a table and practice Ardha Uttanasana. So I would make the blanket more this shape, Abby, more like this shape. So make it wider and take your knees as wide as the mat. Take your knees as wide as the mat. That's it. Or you could also try with your knees all the way together. Yes. And now hold on to the side edges of the sticky mat with your hands and stretch the sticky mat forwards and move your inner groins back and apart. So can you grab hold of the edges of the mat? Yeah. Do you have an injury here?
Just a little couple times.
Okay. Yeah, I've had that too. So move those inner groins down and apart. Feel like your inner thighs are spreading away from each other, getting more spacious, right? And then move your outer hips down. Get those outer hips to release down. There you go. And then just let go of the sticky mat and keep your hips down, your inner groins down and out, your outer hips down, but lift up your head slowly. Come on your fingertips. Don't let your hips lift. Your hips are still down. There you go. And look forwards and get your back ribs to come in. So the back ribs have to come in away from the ceiling. Your breastbone has to pull forwards. When you did that, did your groins start to come forward? Keep the inner groins moving back and apart, outer hips down, and then let your head release down. That's it. And then bring your hands alongside your head and come up to stand. So come on up to stand. Just stand with your feet in between a block like this. That's it. Good. So have a medium block right in between your feet and interlace your fingers in front of your chest. Turn your palms forwards and raise those arms upwards. That's it. Good. So as you stand, go back into your heels, lift the fronts of the thighs, move those inner groins back, and bring your middle buttocks forward. The middle buttocks comes forward. If you've ever done, all of you have done Ustrasana, right? Camel pose, the middle buttocks comes forward. So move the middle buttocks forwards, lift your waist up with your wrists. Use your wrist. As the wrists go up, are you lengthening your waist? Bring your arms forwards and down and repeat that. That's it. Turn your palms forwards and go up. So the thighs are back, the middle buttocks is forward. Feel your wrists, and as you pull your wrist up, lengthen your waist upwards. Lift your back ribs up without leaning back. So keep the back ribs lifting and the buttocks releasing down. Pull your lower back up, pull your middle back up, and move your upper back in. The dorsal spine moves in. As the upper arms go back, the upper arms go back. And now release that. Good. And then take the brick out from in between your feet there. And then do it again with your feet together. Do it again with your feet together. That's it. Rajiv, I'm going to have you move back and a little bit closer to this pole, just so you're not blocking the folks at home there. Thank you. So bring your feet together, interlace your fingers that first way and go up. Urdhva Baddha Gulyasana. And just notice when your legs are together, is it easier to feel your groins with the legs apart or the legs together? So see if your inner thighs are pushing into each other. Can you move them back? The top inner groins, move them back and apart as you bring the middle buttocks forward. And then take a side bend to the right side. Take a side bend to the right. So Parsva, that's it. Don't let your right arm bend. See how that, yeah, the right arm wants to bend. The head wants to rest on the right arm. So don't let it. Straighten the arms. That's it. Keep the inner groins back, outer hips, and roll the left ribs back. Come back to the center and then go to the other side. Yes, that's it. Open that right side of the trunk. There you go. Straighten the left arm, pull the head away from the chest, roll the right ribs back. Come back to the center. Bring your arms down, reverse the interlace, and we'll repeat that. Turn your palms forwards, raise your arms upwards. Get your thighs back, inner groins back. Lift your waist by pulling your wrists upwards, and then go ahead and take that side bend to the right. If it's coming well, even let your hips shift a little bit to the left. Let your hips shift. Doesn't that increase it a little bit? Yeah, let the hips shift. Anyone feel that side body opening? Straighten that right arm and then come back to the center. Inhale, first extend and then take that side bend to the left. And you can let your hips shift. Make sure your arms aren't bending, especially the bottom left arm. It wants to bend, doesn't it? Yeah, that's it. And then come back to the center and bring your arms down. Good. Now reach for your block and put your block, this at the medium level, unless you have really tighter groins, and then you can move the block this way. But most of you, I think, will be this way, right up in between the thighs, like that, all the way up at the pelvic floor. Now, if you feel that the clothing that you're wearing or, you know, your skin is, you have lots of lotion on your skin today and the block is going to slip, get a cork or a foam block. Bring your feet as if you had that other block like we were before. So not all the way together, just bring your feet as if you had that other block and then raise your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. That's it. Now you can feel the groins more, can't you? So move them back. Move that block backwards. Move it back by moving the inner thighs back. And as soon as you do that, doesn't the buttocks start to go up? So then bring your middle buttocks forward. Bring that middle buttocks forwards. And maybe some of you might feel your abdomen lift. Can you feel your abdomen at all? The lower abdomen lifts. Roll those outer armpits forward. Inner groins back, middle buttocks forwards. Now bring your arms down. That's it. Good. And then bring your arms out to the sides. And all the way up. And make sure that your arms, the outer arm goes forward, right? But the inner arm, this, goes back. The arms go back. When you bring the arms back, does any change happen in your upper middle back? Arms forward, upper middle back. Feel it? Arms back. Do you feel that difference? Yeah, that's your downward dog. Now bend your knees, Utkatasana. Yeah, bend your knees. If anyone needs to bring the hands to the hips, separate your feet a little bit more, Anita, and make sure your heels aren't closer together than your toes. Good. Now, are your groins moving down and apart? Groins down and apart. Now, straighten your legs and release. Good. Now, take the block out from in between your legs and get a blanket. And take your blanket like this. So it's just shelf size, shoulder stand size, and you make it into a trifold. So I go like this, 1, 2, 3. So it's a tri-folded blanket. So once again, I just go 1, 2, 3. It's an accordion shape. And then stand on that blanket, bring your feet together. Now, if you know that you need to have your feet apart, if there's a knee concern, you can keep your legs straight. So make sure your heels are on the blanket. The heels, not the ball mounds of the feet. It's like you're wearing a high-heeled shoe. Yes. And you don't have to bend your legs. You can still do the same work without bending your legs if this is too much for anybody's knees. So again, bring your arms out, revolve your arms, raise your arms. That's it. Roll those outer armpits forward and move your inner upper arms back without dropping your back ribs, without leaning back like that, Kathleen. That's it. Good. If anyone needs to bring your hands to the hips, do that. Are you squishing the blanket with your heels? Are you moving your inner groins back and apart as you bend your knees? Don't let your arms come forward. Don't let your arms bend. Don't look down. Yes. Your upper body can lean a little bit forward. Yes. Move those inner groins down, 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 and apart. Yes. And then move the buttocks flesh towards the heels and move your arms back. Move the arms back. Nice. And then come on up. Good. Bring your arms down. Now, some of you can do that again without the blanket. So the blanket is optional. So you can see. So you can step. We'll do that one more time. Is that making sense? The inner groins going down? And then the buttocks flesh also has to move down. So bring your arms out, raise your arms, and then go up. Outer upper arms forwards, arms back. So here's arms forward, here's arms back. Now here's arms back, leaning back. So you don't want that either. You have to create some more mobility here without leaning back. And just keep pulling your wrist upwards. Pull the wrist upwards. Bend your legs. Utkatasana. Yes. Move those inner groins down and apart. Move the buttocks flesh down. That's it. Sit a little bit lower, some of you. Go down, arms straight. Don't let your arms bend. That's it. Good. And now come on up. Very nice. And then release. Now take your feet as wide as the mat this way and turn your feet outward. So just your heels are on the mat. Just the heels. Just the heels are on the mat there. Good. And let me just show what we're going to do. So I just come down into a squat. So my hips are below my knees. I'm squatting. Good. Now this might be too much. Some of you will need to put this blanket under your heels. Some of you will need to get a chair and sit in a chair and do it this way in a chair. Okay, so see what you need to do. So take your feet wide, maybe even a little bit wider than the mat. It depends. Bring your arms forwards and squat down. Squat down. So you want your knees going right over the middle of the feet. Bring your hands to Namaskarasana. That's it. Get your elbows inside your knees. I think let's use a chair, Anita. Use a chair there. Yeah. See if you can get your hips lower. Get your hips lower down. And then sit in this chair like this. And you can come here like this. See if that's okay. Good. Does anyone feel your groins? Are they tight? Are they tight? Use your arms. Are your knees pushing into your arms? Be more on your outer feet. Soften those groins down. Do this every day if your groins are tight. I do it every day at my kitchen sink. You just do it at your kitchen sink. It's wonderful. Open those groins. Tight groins cause a sensitive back. And then come on up. Very nice. Okay. So come and watch what we're going to do. What we're going to do, just make sure not to block the camera. Some of you can repeat either just straight forwards Utkatasana, if that was challenging for you, with or without the blanket. I've given you options. Some of you can repeat the squat. if that was super challenging. Others of you, we're going to do Utkatasana into a Malasana variation. Does anyone know the pose Malasana? Malasana means garland. Garland's like when you wrap your body around your own body like a garland. Okay, so I come into my Utkatasana, and then I separate my knees, right? And I start to move my inner groins down and apart, and I just come straight forwards. This is as far as I'm going. So of course, this isn't the classic pose. So my inner groins are moving back. My outer hips are in, and I'm pulling my upper body forward, but I'm pressing my heels into that blanket. Some of you will use the blanket, some of you won't. And then you come back into Utkatasana, and then you come back up. Should we give it a go? Let's do that. Otherwise, repeat the squat. I just repeat straight Utkatasana if that's better for your situation. So bring your arms out to the sides. Make sure to have a blanket under your heels if you know that that's good, if your heels tend to come up. Raise your arms. Move those outer armpits forward, but your upper arms back. Bend your knees for Utkatasana. Squish the heels into the floor. Move those inner groins down. And now separate your knees as wide as you can. That's it. And then bring your upper body parallel to your knees and reach forward like warrior three pose. Yes. Press the roll from the outer feet to the inner feet. Squish those blankets. That's it. Don't just keep your hips the same level as your arms this way. Pull and then bring your legs back together. Come back to Utkatasana and then straighten, lift up higher, and then go down. There you go. Pretty intense, isn't it? Yes.
Question, so, Edwin, sorry.
Yes, it's okay.
So I was sitting more
There's
like—
a question online.
Sorry, I was sitting more like there was like the original squat, but you're saying like hover above the where your arm.
Yes, so I'm saying just hover. It's kind of like a combination. We call it a hybrid, like we're doing hybrid Zoom class. So it's a hybrid pose. The full Malasana, you come all the way down and you're like this, right? That's the full classic Malasana. So we're just doing a variation of that pose. So I'm kind of hovering. See how my hips are not going down? My hips are a little bit higher because I'm focusing on my groins. Pardon this view. It's never a great view, but this has to learn to go back, right? It has to go back and apart. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, get ready. One more time like that. Remember, do one of the variations if it's just not working for your body. That's fine. Bring your arms out, raise your arms up. Don't just raise your arms, raise your spirits, raise everything up. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. Inner groins down, buttocks flesh down. Now open up your knees. Don't look down, look forward. And then bring your upper body level with your hips. And keep moving those groins back. Now you've got it, everybody. Look forwards, like warrior three. Press the heels into the floor or the blanket. Nice, you guys. And then slowly come back to Utkatasana, knees together, Utkatasana, and then straighten your legs. Release your arms, downward facing dog pose.
It's easier to fancy like this. Get the correct pose?
No, the arms go outside, yeah. See if there's any transformation. In Sanskrit, that's called parinama. And that's really why we're here, is to have a little bit of transformation. Good. Now, come down, and then I want you to have your block either in between your thighs at that medium level. Remember, if you feel like your block is going to slip out, get a textured block, a cork or a foam block, because some of the wood blocks might slip out. If you're really tight in the hamstrings, have the block the wide way. Have the block the wide way. And if that's still too narrow for you, do it without the block, okay? So one of those three things. Go into downward dog with the block in between your groins. Either the narrow way or the wide way. I would use a different one. Those are super heavy. Yeah, those are super heavy. So I would use a lighter one, maybe even and the cork blocks, FYI, Rajiv, are thicker. The cork blocks are thicker. The foam blocks are also thicker than some of these wooden blocks. And then doesn't the block give you more awareness of the groins? Look at your heels. Make sure they're not closer together than your big toes. That's it. And now, as you look at your knees, are you lifting your inner thighs up to that groins? Up, lift the inner. First, you have to lift the groins, and then you have to move those inner top thighs back, like the very top of the block. Move that back. Squirt it back behind you. Like move it. Push it back behind you. That's it. And then feel your outer hips. Are they falling forward? Move the outer hips back. So inner groins back, outer hips back. That's the way. And then reach from your shoulders back into the hands. See if deepening your groins helps you to lengthen your lower back at all in your Adho Mukha Svanasana. See if that happens. Okay, and then slightly come down onto the knees. Take out the block. And then Denise, come up here, please. I'm going to demonstrate. We're going to do some partner work, and you'll need to get one of the basket belts, the longer belts. Just watch first, and then we can get that. Okay? If you're a more petite, you can use this. Have your hands there. Do you mind demonstrating? Okay, good. So she does downward dog, and take your feet at least as wide as your shoulder. There you go. And then look what I have this belt. Now, those of you at home, if you have a partner at home, of course you can do this. If you don't, you're going to be repeating with the block. But just look at the demonstration because it might help you clarify the information. So I just put the belt here, right over the sacrum, and then be really mindful because you have to bring the belt through the inner thighs. So now I have that belt on the groins, right? And I just stand here, kind of like we did for that squat, right? A nice, good horse stance. So I'm supported, and then I just pull back. How does that feel? Isn't it feel good? So I'm moving the groins back, but also apart. See, back and apart. Can you guys sense that? And then the outer hips. This also has to come back. She has to do that on her own. Okay, so everyone's going to do that with partners. Get someone around your size. Rajiv and Ben, you'll work together. Those of you at home, you'll be repeating with the block. If you need to rest in child's pose, rest in child's pose. Yeah, that's it. Just get those inner groins back. So put the belt around the sacrum. Make sure the belt is not in their lower back. It's on the sacrum. Yeah, that's it. And then stand with your feet wider than their feet and your feet kind of turned outwards. And then bend your knees and lean back and go back. I can do you, Michael. So come over here. That's it. There you go. Yes. Ask for feedback. Ask for feedback. Don't just take the take the belt also apart this way. So back is the first thing and then out. Yes. Can you feel that, Kathleen? It has to go back and out. If you're tighter, of course, go wider. Go wider with the feet. Is that okay on your groins, Michael? Good. Okay, and then go back. Yes, and out. Yes. Does that feel okay? That's it. Back and out. That's it. Those of you at home, rest as you need to in child's pose. That's it. Those of you here, switch partners. Switch. Yes, that's it. Good. Very nice. That's it. So those of you at home with the block, feel the block, lift the inner knees to the groins, move the inner thighs back, the inner groins back. Nice, Kathy. Yes, and get that length in your lower back. Get the length in your lower back. Yes. Oh, Lisbeth, you have your husband or boyfriend doing you. That's good. Yeah, it's a little bit different than how you're doing it, but that's okay. You're doing well. Very good. Make sure to pull the groins back and apart. Nice. Okay, and then come back. Everybody release. Those of you at home, take the block out and just do one more downward dog without any props and see if you can get the feeling of the props. Remember, the props are here to help us become more intelligent. No, you can put the long belts back into the basket there. Just see if you get any sense of that. Good. So the inner groins have to lift from the inner knees up, and then they have to move back and apart, and the outer hips move back. And you want your lower back to feel very long, and your abdomen also elongates. Push into the floor with your hands. Now walk your feet forward and take Uttanasana. That's it. So some of you can let's take concave back. Take concave back. So look upwards. So have your hands under the shoulders. Use your props as needed. Some of you can be fingertips on the floor. Some of you can have medium or high blocks. And lift your chest. Get your back ribs to come in. Have the feet as wide as the sticky mat. And even here, can you still feel like the inner groins lifting and the inner thighs moving way back? So there's a softness there. And then once you have that, take your hands wider than your feet and release the head down. For some of you can stay in concave back or walk the hands forward if you're needing to keep your front spine long. That's it. And then as you go down, those of you who went down, make sure that the hips don't go back. Take the inner groins back. Are you firming the outer hips in? Flow the sides of the trunk down. Good, now come back to concave back. That's it, and bring your hands onto the hips and up you come. Very good. Okay, so have your blocks at the tallest level at the top of your mat, which is the orange wall side. Yeah. Orange wall side of your mat there. Okay, and then just stand in the center of the mat. Some of you might need a chair. You probably might need a chair there, Rajiv. Yeah, that's it. So we'll move them back just a smidge also. Okay, and then just step your right foot forward in between the blocks or under the chair and step your left leg back for Parsvottanasana. So the right leg is forward, the left leg is back. For the Trussler, I don't think you need it for this because we're not going to bend the leg. I mean, if you need it, I can show you what to do. Yeah. Yeah, so no, we're not going to bend that leg right now. So make sure to have one leg's distance between your feet. Yeah, some of you might need that blanket under the back heel. The back foot is turned about 45 degrees, right? So it's turned this much. And then now take this inner left thigh back, this inner left groin. So this is more challenging because it's asymmetrical, right? We did symmetrical poses. All of those poses were symmetrical. This is an asymmetrical pose. So see how you have to move the left inner groin back and the outer groin back. Can you guys sense that? So this left inner groin has to go back and this outer right groin has to go back, and then raise your arms. Is your pelvis orientating forwards? Are you tipping your pelvis forward and arching your lower back? Or are you lifting your frontal hip points and lifting your back ribs? Keep your left ribs as far forward as the right ribs. Those of you with back sensitivity, bring your arms to the hips, hands to the hips. Otherwise, keep looking forwards. Keep moving that left inner groin back. Don't let your arms get back. Don't look down, look forwards towards your pinky fingers, and then bring your hands onto your props. Again, you can have whatever level blocks you need to get your upper back in, to get your back ribs in away from the ceiling. You should have the feeling of upward dog in your back. So now just notice if your left inner groin is moving back. Are you lifting from that left inner knee to that left inner groin, moving that left inner groin back, and then see if your outer right hip is pushing forward. Pull that outer right groin back. Yes, that's it. Good, and now just bend your front leg and step your back leg forward. Come up and we'll do the second side. So step back away from your blocks a little bit, and then step your left leg forward in between the blocks and step your right leg back and have a heel to heel alignment. Unless you need to go wider. Take any support you need under that back heel. Hands to the hips, use your thumbs to traction the buttocks down, and then take this inner right thigh back, inner right groin back, outer left hip back, and raise your arms. Lift your frontal hip bones. Lift your back ribs. Use your wrists. Are you pulling your ribs up to lengthen your waist? That's the name of this pose. Parsvo is to lengthen the sides of the flank or the sides of the trunk. Bring your right ribs further forward. Don't let your arms go down as you start to come forward. Start to come forward. Look forward. Eyes towards the pinky fingers. Yes. And then bring your hands down to those blocks. And then, or the floor, whatever you can do to get your upper back in. So your back ribs should be coming in. Now with your legs straight, can you lift that inner right knee up and move your inner right thigh back? I would use at least some blocks. Yeah, maybe low blocks. And move the outer left hip back. Does the left outer hip start to go forward? So move the outer left hip and the inner groin back. So we're doing, but asymmetrically, what we've been doing all through the class, aren't we? But just one leg is a little bit different than the other leg. Eyes are open, breastbone is forward. Now bend your front knee and come forward. That's it. Okay, good. Now we're going to do that again. Watch what I do. So now I'm here, but now I'm going to move my hands and my props forward and lift my back leg up like a Virabhadrasana 3 position. So I still want to lift this inner right groin upwards and my foot is flexed. I want to move my abdomen towards the straight leg. So I don't want to do this. Can you guys see that? That's my outer groin lifting. I want to lift my inner groin. And what do I want to do with this hip? Do I want this standing hip to come forward? I want it to go back. Okay, so let's try that. So bring your right leg forward and your left leg back. If this feels unsteady for you, stay in Parsvottanasana. That was the last pose. Raise your arms up. Straighten your legs. Move the inner left thigh back, the outer right hip back. Move your arms back without dropping your back ribs. Come forward. Look forwards. Bring your hands down. Concave your back. Bend your front knee and move your blocks forward. And then lift your back leg up from the inner thigh and flex your left foot so your toes are down. Look back at your left toes. Are they turning out? Your back foot should no longer be turning out. That's it. You have to lift that inner left thigh up. And as you lift the inner thigh up, that inner back left groin up, move your outer right hip back and move your abdomen from the left side to the right side. Pull your breastbone forward away from that back left heel. Yes. And then bend your front leg and go back into Parsvottanasana. Back into Parsvottanasana. Bring your hands back and then bring your, some of you can bring your hands to the hips and come up. Others of you can bend your front knee and bring the back leg forward. That's more forgiving if you have any back sensitivity. Second side, bring your left foot forward and your right leg back. Good. Raise your arms, straighten your legs, have your heel to heel alignment, or otherwise go wider. I would go wider with the feet, Anita, to give yourself more balance. Yeah. And feel free to stay in Parsvottanasana if that's okay. So lift that inner right groin, move it back. Now start to come forward, outer left hip back. That's it. Keep your arms level with your ears. Bring your hands down, concave your back. Legs are straight, Jackie. Legs are straight, hands, blocks are right under the shoulders. There you go. And now bend your front knee, bring your blocks forwards and lift up your back leg. But lift it up from the inner groin. Look back at your right toes. Are they going out? That means your outer groin is lifting. Yeah, lift the inner groin up. And then see if your left hip is falling forward. Move it back and move your abdomen towards the straight leg. Yes, doesn't that help, Rose? And then pull your breastbone forwards away from that right heel. Are you still lifting up that inner right groin? That's it. Now bend your left leg, go back into concave back Parsvottanasana. Look upwards. Some of you can bring your hands to the hips and come up. Others of you bend your front knee and come up. Very nice. Okay, so come and watch once again. So now we're going to add on. And some of you will not add this on. Some of you will repeat what we just did. That's fine. So I'm here, right? Getting this groin back, getting this hip back. And then I'm here. And then I'm here, right? And then some of you can take your hands out. You can move the blocks down if you need to. And then you start to lift this inner groin up. Do I want to do this? I want to lift this up. And it's very challenging sometimes. And to get this hip to go back, as I bring my hands down, this is called Urdhva Prasarita Eka Padasana. And then foot, the front of the ankle unfolds. And then you go back, and you're back. Now you're in Parsvottanasana, convex spine. And the spine is coming down over the leg. Okay, some of you, of course, will stay in the concave spine. Everybody's a little bit different. Okay, so let's give it a go. That last pose is optional. The last two are optional. Please stay in the way that's good for your spine. Okay, so step your right leg forward, step your left leg back. Did that make sense, that demonstration? Okay, good. Raise your arms up. Take that inner left groin back. Take your outer right hip back. Are you lifting your frontal hip bones? Bring your arms back. Activate your upper back. Come forwards with your legs straight. Bring your hands down to the blocks right under your shoulders. Look forwards. Straighten your legs. Even out your hips. Bend your front leg. Move the blocks forward. That's it. Come to like that warrior three position. Flex your left foot. Lift the inner left groin. Draw the outer right hip back. Move your abdomen from left to right. Yeah, that's it, Kathleen. Some of you go deeper. Take your hands and the blocks out to the side. You can lose the blocks. Take your head down and lift your inner left thigh up, and then the front of your left foot unfolds. Don't let your left leg bend. Keep lifting that left inner groin upwards. Up, up, up. Move the outer right hip back. Standing splits, like you're doing the splits standing. Nice. And now some of you everybody bend your front knee and go back. Some of you keep your body really close to your leg and be in Parsvottanasana. Others of you come to Parsvottanasana concave back. That's it, Anjali. Good. Straighten your legs. Feel how your upper body is nestled. Straighten your front leg, Michael. Parsvottanasana. Yes. And then bring your hands to the hips and come on up. And then bring your legs back together. Did it feel slightly deeper for anybody? Slightly deeper. Didn't your upper body get closer to the leg? So that's what happens when you start to connect the poses. You can actually take a basic pose, take a more intermediate pose, and then improve the basic pose. That takes some time. So don't be in a rush. Don't be upset if you didn't get that today. Okay, other side. Step your left leg forward, step your right leg back. Work from the groins today. So in each class, you know, we have like a little yoga flashlight. Today we're flashing our yoga flashlight on the groins. Okay, so raise your arms up. Take that right inner thigh back, that outer left hip back, inhale, and then exhale, come forwards, pull yourself forward. Yes, and then bring your hands down to the blocks or the floor. Look forwards, bend your front knee. Bring your hands forward, come into that warrior three position. Keep your hands on the chair seat. Okay. Yeah, that's it. And then flex your right foot, lift that inner right groin up and move the outer left hip back. Move your abdomen from right to left. Pull the breastbone away from your right heel. Some of you stay here. Others of you take your hands and your blocks out to the side. Go lower if you can or lose the blocks. And then lift the right leg all the way up to the ceiling. Good, Alessandra. And unfold the front of the ankle. Yes, you can kind of see if you're turning the leg out. Standing splits pose. Move the outer left hip back. Doesn't it want to fall forward? Good. Now bend your front left leg. Keep your upper body really close to your left leg. Nothing really changes as you go back into Parsvottanasana. That's it. Others of you go back into Parsvottanasana, but stay in the concave back. That's it. Turn your abdomen from right to left. Move that outer left hip back, inner right groin back, and flow your whole spine down your leg like a waterfall. And then bring your hands onto the hips, shift your body weight backwards, and up you come out of the pose. Nice. Very good. Okay, so bring your feet hip distance apart. Raise your arms upwards. In fact, let's do this. Put the block again in between your thighs, either at that medium level or the thicker level. And again, if you have really tight hamstrings, you can put your hands on a wall, just do the concave back like the L shape. Otherwise, the block can be at the medium level. So one of those positions, but don't bring your feet, you know, just have the feet a little bit apart. Raise your arms up. That's it. And then move the inner groins back, move the middle buttocks forwards, start to come down. If you need to use your other block, you can concave your back with that other block. And some of you can just stay there with your hands on that second block. Others of you, take your hands way out to the sides and let your head and your rib cage go down. Yes. Are you white knuckling your toes? Look at your toes. Spread the toes. And then can you lift your inner groins up to the block? The inner knees go up, and then move the block back, but firm your outer hips in. Some of you can move your hands further back. Some of you can hold on to the backs of your heels or your ankles. Yes, bring your thumbs around and go down, go down, go down. Yes, that's it. So Gopasana pose, holding the ankles. Some of you are staying in concave back. That's okay. Just understand the groins. That's it, David. Have your hands higher. Move those groins back out. There you go. That's much better. Okay, good. Now bring your hands onto the hips. Reach the chest forwards and up you come. Very nice. Okay, now come to a wall. Bring your mats to the wall. Any wall will do. There's the side wall, the back wall. There's plenty of walls. You can move the rack more to the side, the front wall. Those of you on the front wall, just be aware that you will be seen for the folks at home. And maybe for posterity on YouTube. You'll have to see. Okay, so have your mats to the wall, and some of you can practice half handstand. Some of you, and let's all do half handstand first. Yeah, you can't do that, but you can put your legs up the wall. Just put your, if you're not doing half handstand, put your legs up the wall, just with nothing under your hips. So either legs up the wall or half handstand, walking the feet up the wall. Can't lay on your back. Okay, so take Supta Baddha Konasana. Have a bolster and sit in front of the bolster. Have the bolster long ways. Just kind of see how it feels. That's it. Half handstand. Make sure your arms are straight. Your hands are turning in, Vera. That's fine. And then you can lift up your arms. You can have a blanket under your head and your neck. Like that. There you go. Good. Yeah, just keep both feet on the wall. And I want you to, with your feet on the wall, maybe the level of your hips may be higher. You can have your feet together or a little bit apart. I'll leave that to you. Are you lifting your inner groins up? Can you take the same work, but now just do it upside down? Lift the inner groins up. Lift your outer hips up like there's ropes on the ceiling, pulling your hips up. Make the pose lighter by using your legs more. Inner groins up. That's a good choice, Anita. Very good. And then come down and rest in child's pose. Very nice. That's it. Those of you with your legs up the wall, Carol, just have your legs up the wall and have your arms up over your head, you know, with your palms upward. So you're in the same basic shape. Yeah, you're in the same shape. And you can still do the work of moving the inner groins back to the wall and moving your outer hips back to the wall. There you go. Okay, so come and watch, Rose. We're going to do that again. Half handstand. But now we're going to add Ekapada. So go into the pose. Watch Rose. She's coming up into the pose. Okay, and then she's going to, these inner groins are lifting, these outer hips are lifting, and then she keeps one foot on the wall, maybe move that foot, one foot a little bit lower down, either foot, and then lift this leg up. So that's Ekapada. So don't let the leg get overshoot. It doesn't overshoot, just right there. Sometimes it's hard to tell, so you can always look up. That's it. So this has to lift, and this has to go back. Can you see how it's the same pose we did? Standing up, warrior 3 pose. And then bring the leg down, and then you'll either rest in between, or you can do the other side. Okay, so come down and rest. Thank you so much. Those of you not doing this, take Supta Padangustasana. Can you show that, Anya? Have your feet against the wall and have your right foot up in the belt. Here's a belt right here. Those of you not doing this, take Supta Padangustasana, just the first one. So Anya can show that with the feet at the wall. She has the foot, her right foot belted. Just that first stage. Okay, so let's get ready. Try one of those poses. Get ready. So take half handstand and we'll do Ekapada. That's it. And then lift your hips up. Lift your hips up. Take the L shape. No, you have to move your chest back, Regine. Chest has to go back to the wall. Chest to the wall. Chest to the wall. Hips to the ceiling. That's it. First, take the L shape. Then take your left, one leg up. It doesn't matter which leg. Don't overshoot it. That's what happens to all of us. Can you move that left the inner thigh back of the lifted leg and the outer hip of the wall leg? Lift it up. Don't overshoot it, Jackie. You're overshooting. Don't balance. Just have your feet on the wall. Use the wall to get more firmness. And then either switch legs or come down and rest in child's pose and then switch legs. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Good. There you go. Nice, Jennifer. Very good. Yes, keep pulling upwards. Make the pose lighter by your groins. You're letting your upper leg drop to the middle of the room, Regine. Don't let your leg drop to the middle of the room. Keep it going up to the ceiling. Yes, up, more up than back. Your upper leg is going back. And then come down and rest in child's pose. Nice. Those of you who are doing supta, just make sure to do both sides. If you're done, rest with your legs up the wall. Rest with your legs up the wall or do Supta Padangustasana, either one of those choices. Some of you practice full arm balance. And when you go into full arm balance, go from your inner thigh. Lift the leg that you're lifting up with the inner thigh. So when I go up into my pose, I'm walking in, I go up with the inner thigh. I don't want to let the leg turn out. I go up with the inner thigh of the leg to go up. The inner thigh brings me up and the inner thigh brings me down. See if you can get that as you're doing the full arm balance. Otherwise, you can repeat half handstand or have your legs up the wall or practice Supta Padangustasana, any of those poses. Those of you doing full arm balance, scrub your heels up the wall. Yeah, that's good. And press this thigh down and keep moving this thigh back. That's it. So this groin has to go this way and this groin has to go that way. Are you getting that? Yeah, that's it. Remember, if you're doing Supta Padangustasana, which we'll all do later on, the right hip, the lifted leg hip has to go one direction. That's good, Anjali. And then the inner groin has to go in another direction. Just do number one. Don't go to the side, David. Just do Supta Padangustasana 1. Very good. When you're done, come down and rest. Those of you who did full arm balance, rest in Uttanasana. Any version of Uttanasana. That's it. Yeah. You're flailing the legs as you go up, Chris. You're flailing the legs. So go up from that inner thigh. Okay, and then get ready for headstand pose, Shirsasana. Just get yourself set up. Let's all use the wall today. Have your knuckles at the wall, and then I'm going to have Ben demonstrate something. Okay, so everybody will be at the wall, knuckles at the wall. If you're not doing a headstand today, take Supta Baddha Konasana, have your feet together, knees apart, have your spine on a bolster and a blanket under your head, and take any support you need for the outer thighs, okay? So Supta Baddha Konasana, if you're not doing headstand. What's that? For sure, absolutely. So Ben, go ahead up into your pose and then I'll have you show. But before you go up, just kind of watch. Some of you will be doing this, some of you won't. This is the second variation that we learn. How do you tell if you can do variations? If you can hold headstand for 5 minutes with some kind of ease, then you're ready for variation. So go ahead up. So once he's in his pose, just have the feet to the wall. I think you can see that well. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. So again, these outer thighs roll in, the middle buttocks comes forwards. Can you see how it's Tadasana upside down? And then you can do either leg. Just choose one leg and then keep the other heel on the wall and take Ekapada. So this is the second variation that we learn. And you can come down this low or maybe even higher. That's it. Do we want this hip to drop? We want it to lift. What about this groin? Do we want it to come this way or that way? We want it to go back and up, right? So this has to go back and up. This has to go up. The abdomen draws back and then he switches. So that's called Ekapada. And even if you just bring it a little bit forward, that's where you start. Okay, so please don't do that if you don't have a headstand that you're secure with. You have to get that first. Okay, so get ready. Thank you so much, Ben. Get ready and let's do that. Can you see how it's the same shape as we've been doing? The same shape to sort of understand. First, we learn it upright, and then we learn it upside down. Sure, for sure. So go up into your Asana and just be settled there. Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. You can move the chair a little bit further forward. That's it. Good. Kathleen, your elbows are a little bit too wide, and just keep your heels against the wall. Yeah, just keep your heels, bring your elbows even closer together. Yeah, that's it. So just kind of get a sense of your headstand today, your Asana, pressing those forearms down, lifting the shoulders up. Those of you in Supta Baddha Konasana, on your back, make sure to take any props you need outside your hips or your knees there. They can be blocks, yeah, you got it, or blankets. You can take any arm position. Those of you in Supta Baddha Konasana, you can keep your arms in Shavasana, or you can lift your arms up into Baddha Hasta, holding the elbows. Good. Now, those of you in Asana, have your heels against the wall, unless you have props like that. And then scrub your heels higher. Yeah, don't do the variation just yet, Regine. We're just holding the pose. And then get a sense of your outer thighs rolling to the inner thighs. Now you're even. Does that feel different to you?
Crooked.
Yeah, you're not crooked at all. Now you're even. Yeah, it feels crooked, but you're really even. And as you move those inner groins back, are you bringing the middle buttocks forward? Yes, middle buttocks forward. And just see, if you bring the middle buttocks too far forwards, don't the groins start to push? Does anyone sense that? The groins start to go forward. So there's always that balance. Inner groins back, middle buttocks forwards. Good. Now keep your left heel at the wall and keep reaching up through that left leg. Don't let it fall back. And then bring the right legs forward, any amount, any amount. Otherwise, just stay in straight Asana. Yes. Keep lifting up that outer right hip, moving the inner left thigh back. Scrub the heel higher up. Scrub it up. Bring your left hip further forward, Regine. Left hip further forward. There you go. And then bring that right leg up. Keep reaching it up. Scrub that right heel up the wall. Move the tip of your nose towards your right elbow. Yeah, that's it. There we go. And then bring the left leg down. Any amount. Doesn't have to be very far if you've never done this pose before. Lift up your outer left hip and move your inner right groin back. Yes. Don't let your buttocks go to the wall. The buttocks is off the wall. Middle buttocks forwards as the right inner groin goes back. Nice. And now keep your shoulders lifting as you bring that left leg back up. Some of you can bring your feet off the wall and balance. Roll the thighs in. Excellent. Okay, and then keep your shoulders lifting and come down out of the posture and rest in child's pose. That's it. It's good to keep your arms forward after headstand, Anjali, just to keep your armpits and your shoulders more open and your upper back in. Okay, and then come up and let's everybody do Supta Padangustasana. So have your feet against the wall. Have any support you need under your head and your neck. And if you need some support, actually have your block that you've been using for today's practice, have the block right outside your right hip. Have the block right outside the right hip. So feet against the wall, block right outside the right hip, belt your right big toe mound and little toe mound. That's it. You can do this with your spine like that and your leg can be up. You can try it like that. Maybe add another blanket under your head and you can try it like that. Okay, so feet against the wall. So push that left inner foot into the wall and move your left inner groin down. That's it. So get that left inner groin down, hold the belt so your hands are separated. And make sure that your head isn't thrown back. So lengthen the back of the neck and just go to the first stage. The first stage is a 90-degree angle. So your right leg is just in a 90 degrees to your trunk, to your torso. That's it. So just feel your left inner groin, move it down. Feel your sitting bones. Are they coming up? Are your sitting bones and your lower back kind of coming up? They have to move down. Move your inner groins down. Blanket, Michael, you'd do better with a thicker blanket because your head is still kind of falling back. So move that left inner groin down, move your sitting bones down, hold the belt with just your left hand and bring your right hand into the outer right groin and push that outer right hip, that outer right groin towards the wall. Like that. As you move the inner left thigh down. Yes, that's it. Inner left thigh down, outer right hip towards the wall. Maintain that now. Now hold the belt with your right hand. Bring your left hand onto the left inner thigh, a little bit more on the inner thigh, right? So get the inner left thigh to go down as you pull the right foot closer towards the right side of your head. Yes, keep that inner left thigh moving down, the outer right hip moving away. Make sure that you're not lifting your back off the floor. Move the sitting bones in towards the floor. So that left inner groin moves down and out. Very nice. And now switch your legs. Does that feel okay, Rajiv? Okay, good. Switch your legs. Bring the right foot to the wall and belt the left foot. So as you push that right foot into the wall, move the inner right thigh down. Move your sitting bones down. You should feel like a tiny lifting of your lower back, like your lower back isn't like pushing into the floor. There's a tiny bit of, you're just respecting, there's a curve in your lumbar spine that you're respecting. So maintain that as you hold the belt now with your right hand. Bring your left hand into that outer hip and move it down. That's it. So the inner right groin goes down and the outer left hip moves down. Can you feel that, Rose? That's it. Now maintain that. Hold the belt again with your left hand and pull your left foot now towards your head. As you bring your right hand onto the top of that right thigh and move it down. Move that leg down. That's it. Good. Make sure that your left thigh is still pressing back. Okay, good. And now release. Okay, can I show on your mat there? Come and watch. So we'll do that into Supta Padangusthasana to the side. So I'm here. Everyone seems to be getting, right? This going this way, this going down, right? So as I pull this foot in, as you go in, some of you may not need this anymore. This is where now you can go for the toe. And as I go for the toe, I slide this hand, I bend this elbow, and I come up. The abdomen draws down, I'm pushing this back, and I'm coming up, and I'm reaching my forehead towards the shin. And then I'm going to go out to the side. Now, if there isn't room for this arm, you can take this arm. Okay, so let's try that. And you might, at that point, you might need to go back to the belt when you go out to the side, some of you. Okay, so let's try that. Get ready. So belt the right foot, and you won't lift. You won't lift. Yeah. That's it. Push your left foot into the wall. Get that right inner thigh or that left inner thigh to go down and that outer right hip down. Hold the belt, pull the belt, and pull your right foot closer in without losing that left inner groin down, outer right hip down. Some of you either hold onto the belt as close to the foot as you can or hold onto the big toe. And your arm should be straight. Your right arm should be straight. Hold onto the big toe. And keep reaching the big toe upwards. Reach it up. You need some support outside the hips here, right? At least, yeah, block. That's it. Good. Now, inhale, empty your abdomen and lift your upper body off the floor. Bend your elbow, your right elbow out to the side and pull the right foot. Can you hold the belt with just the right hand? There you go. And slide your left hand towards your knee. There you go. And then slowly come down and then take your left arm into Savasana with your palm downwards, unless you have room at home to spread your arm out to the side, and take that right leg over to the side. If you need to switch back to the belt, do that. And if you don't need the block, you can take the block away as long as your pelvis is level. Keep reaching that right leg to infinity. So the left inner groin is moving down, and now you're lengthening, you're opening that right inner groin, right? Can you really feel it spread? Good, come back to the center and release, and we'll do that on the other side. So press that right foot into the wall, belt your left foot. For the first stage, everybody needs a belt. You have to have the belt for the first stage. So the first stage is 90 degrees, 90 degrees, that's it, yeah. And hold the belt so your hands are apart. Find your right inner foot pressing into the wall. Find that inner right groin moving down, outer left hip going down. Now inhale. As your abdomen empties, pull your left foot in. Yes. Hold the belt with your left hand as close to the foot as you can. Otherwise, hold on to the big toe. Bring your right hand onto the top of the right thigh and press it down. And then lift your upper body off the floor. Bend your left elbow out to the side and pull your left foot towards the left side of your head. Beautiful. And then bring your head and your chest down. Bring your right hand into Savasana and bring your left leg out to the side. And if you need to switch back to the belt, do that. See if you can keep your arms straight, your left arm straight as you take the left leg over to the side. There you go. And keep reaching it out. Don't let your hips change. Keep your pelvis level by rolling the abdomen to the right. Your head is still way falling back, Michael. Yeah, lengthen the back of the neck. And then come back to the center and release. Great. Come on up. And you're going to sit in Virasana pose. So you sit on a block like this. If you need to have a blanket under your shin bones, open up a blanket this way and put it under your shin bones so you have some padding. Otherwise, you're sitting in Virasana pose. Okay, so get ready. Some of you can sit on one block, 2 blocks. The front edge of a bolster also works really well. So sit in Virasana. And let me know if Virasana just doesn't work no matter how much height that you sit on. So make sure that all 10 of your toes are reaching straight backwards. Yes. Pull your buttocks flesh back. So you can lift up your hips a little bit, pull the buttocks flesh back, pull your shin skin and your kneecap skin forward. So you want to feel like there's a lengthening of the shin bones. And then settle those inner groins down. And just like we did at the very beginning of your class, bring your hands to the outer hips and draw the outer hips down, and now lift upwards. Roll the shoulders back, interlace the fingers in front of the chest, turn your palms forwards, and as you go up with your wrist, pull your waist upwards. Those of you who can, sit as low as you can. If you don't need a block, you don't have to have a block. That's it. So move the inner groins down, move the outer hips down. And as you lift the wrist up, lengthen your waist, and then bring your arms forwards and down, reverse the interlace and go back up. Keep the toes reaching backwards. How does that feel, Rajiv? Is it okay? Good. Keep reaching those toes back. Are the inner groins moving down, outer hips down? Pull the wrist up to lengthen the waist, move that upper back in. That's it. And then bring your arms forwards and down. Good. Now bring your fingertips in front of you. And if you need blocks, don't lift your hips. Keep your hips down. Your hips are down. That's okay. And then walk your hands forward. Go all the way forward. Don't let your head go down. Pull your chest forward. Yes. There you go. Pull. Can you feel your groins, anybody? Do you feel the groins? So move them down and apart. Don't let your hips come up. Move your outer hips down. And then once you have the front body extended, you can let your head come in between your arms. That's it. There you go. This was the classic pose. Can you imagine? Isn't it completely different with the feet together and the knees apart? That's it. Yeah, if this isn't working, you can do cross legs for sure, Jennifer. Very good. And then come on up, walk your hands back. Very nice. And then just, stay sitting there, and then just extend your left leg forward. Extend this left leg forward. And she's not mirroring you. Extend the left leg forward. That's it. And have your belt nearby. Now, once your left leg is forward, you have to see, are you still level? Is your pelvis level? If you need to, some of you could just have the block or whatever you're sitting on under the straight-legged hip. Some of you can just have it under the straight-legged hip, right? There you go. Otherwise, you could have it under both hips if you're sitting higher. That's it. So sit a lot higher, David. Sit 10 times. You could even do this on a chair. Sit 10 times higher. Use a bolster, use some blocks. Sit much higher. Lift up your arms. Lift up your arms. Do you feel like you're more in your left leg or more in your right leg? You're more in the right leg, aren't you? Yeah, that's it. So should be in the left leg. Left inner groin has to go down, doesn't it? That left inner groin has to go down, and the outer right hip has to go down. Make sure that your right foot is outside your right hip. That's the way. Good. And then bring your arms down and switch your legs. Bring your right leg forwards and your left leg back. If you're sitting in Virasana, just make sure that your knee isn't, if this is dropping in, you want this to be right like that. So sit higher if you need to, maybe just a folded blanket. Some of you can sit like just on a folded blanket under that one sitting bone. Look at which knee is it? That left inner knee. If that left inner knee, the inner knee is dropping down, you're perfect. If this is, her knee is really nice, but if the knee is dropping down, I can show you with my leg. If I just sit here without support, look how my knee drops in. Can you see that? That's a knee injury waiting to happen. So you have to sit high enough that it looks this way. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's really important. Raise your arms. Raise your arms up. So make sure that your lower back is lifting like it was in those downward dogs. The lower back has to lift up. Move your arms back. Yes. Move the left inner groin down, the outer right hip down. Very nice. Beautiful choice. Jennifer is doing a Marichiasana leg. If you can see over there, that's great. You could do that if you have a knee concern. And then come down. One more time, switch the legs. Switch the legs. So bring the right leg back and the left leg is forward. Raise your arms up. Make sure you have enough height that your straight, bent-legged inner knee is not dropping down. Yes. And then raise your arms up. Move that right outer hip down, left inner groin down. Some of you stay here. Others of you bend forwards and hold onto your foot or use a belt and come to concave back. Beautiful. Concave back. That's it. Look upwards. Get your back ribs in. Yes, get the back ribs in. If you're holding the foot, bring the thumbs to the bottom of the foot and straighten your arms and look upwards. Straighten your arms and look up. Yes, get your upper back to come in. Only if you have the foot. Bend your elbows and then go forwards over that left leg. Go forwards over the leg. That's it. And move the inner right groin down and the outer right hip down and that inner left groin down. And as the groins go back, can't you go further forward? Go further forward. Put some blocks in front of your foot there, Jackie. Tall blocks, 2 blocks. Go further forward. Some of you just stay in concave back. Get your back ribs in. As the groins go back, can't you go further forward? And then reach your arms forwards and come up. Ah, that was really good. How did that feel? That's great. And then bring your arms down and switch your legs. Did any of you sense that? As the groins move back, you could go the spine forward, or that wasn't, that you weren't, yeah, you can sense that. So try to get that feeling of, if I take the groins back, I can move my spine further forward. Last time, second side. So raise your arms upwards. The left leg is in Virasana, the right leg is in Dandasana. See how you have the blanket under your thigh? Just have it just under your buttock bone. Yeah, that's it. Pull your lower back up, your middle back up. Move your arms back like we did earlier. Come forwards, hold onto the foot with your arms straight. Look upwards towards the ceiling. Get your back ribs in. Are you falling towards the straight leg? Shift towards the bent leg. That's it. Shift. Move that outer left hip down. Lift your chest upwards, and then only if you have the foot, bend the elbows and come forward. And as you move the inner groins down and back, see if you can go further and further forward. Lift your elbows up towards the ceiling. Nice. And then reach your arms forwards and come up out of the pose. And release. Looks like those are coming pretty nicely. Are they feeling okay? Good. Stretch out both legs. Paschimottanasana. Adjust your height. So now you can center your pelvis on your block, or you can go higher or lower. Some of you will need a chair over your body. So you'll have a chair like this. You know, maybe you're sitting on a block and you could have a chair in front of you. This works really well also. Okay, so get ready. Raise your arms up. Have your feet either together or, you know, a little bit apart. Are your inner groins going down? Outer hips down? Are you lifting your lower back? Can you move your chest forwards? We did this at the very beginning of class, right? The chest has to go forward, but the arms go back. Can you feel that, Rose? Chest forwards, arms back. Yes, now come forward, hold on to the feet, or walk your hands to the top of the chair. Look upwards, look up. Get your back ribs in, hold the feet, pull back on the feet like a lever, like you're, you know, when you're changing a tire, which I haven't done recently, and you have to use the fulcrum to get the car to lift, that's what you want to feel. Get your back ribs in, look upwards. Only if you have your feet. Now bend your elbows and go forwards. Are your groins moving down and apart? Remember how the belt felt. Some of you who got the belt, they should still feel that way. And your outer hips go down. Lift your elbows out and up and go forwards over the legs. Spread the abdomen. Paschimottanasana. That's the way. And now reach your arms forwards and up you come. Very nice. Lie down on your back. Draw your knees into the chest. Pavamuktasana. That's it. Yeah, you can do a twist, sit with your legs crossed, have a block behind you. So draw the thighs down into the abdomen. Keep your lower back on the floor. Just kind of release yourself. Just have just like she's doing there. Yeah, feet parallel, knees parallel. There can be some space in between the knees. That's it. Good. Now bring your feet down for Chatushpadasana. Make sure there's nothing under your head. Just have your feet about as wide as your shoulders. Have your heels wider than your toes. Grab hold of the side edges of the sticky mat and raise your hips up. Raise those hips up, up, up. And as you sink your heels down, lengthen the fronts of the thighs towards the knees. That's it. Lift the middle buttocks higher. Move your feet a tiny bit further forward on you. There you go. Turn the arms out. Move the biceps out. Outer shoulders down. Lift up those hips and get up on the top of the shoulders, and then lengthen your buttocks flesh to come down. And we'll do that again. That's it. Once again, lift up your hips, Chatushpadasana. Good. Grab hold of the mat, turn the arms out, and also press your arms down to lift your shoulder blades up. Get up on the top of the shoulders, relax your face and your neck. You're getting stronger, Abby. Do you feel that? Yeah, you're getting stronger, you're getting in shape. And then come down. Now bring your feet together into Baddha Konasana, and then separate your knees. Separate your knees. Yeah, if you need to stagger your bodies a little bit, be sure to do that. Bring your feet as close to the pelvis as you can. Push your heels into each other. If you need some support outside your hips, of course, take that for sure. Hold on to the side edges of the sticky mat, or just have your palms downwards. That will work fine also. And lift up your hips about an inch, but lower your knees down. Lift up your hips, lower the knees. Now I want you to spread the groins. Does anyone feel that? Yeah, spread those groins. Just let them irrigate the groins. Yeah, spread them. and then bring your hips down, and we'll do that again. So grab hold of the mat if that's available. Otherwise, just have your palms downwards and raise your hips up, not too high, but lower your knees down. Hips up, knees down. And irrigate the inner groins. Lift the shoulder blades into the back. That's it. And then come down. Now put your blocks under your tailbone and your sacrum as high as you can get for Setu Bandha. So the blocks can come under the tailbone, under the sacrum. You can have 2 blocks sideways. You could have 1 block sideways. You could have 1 block at the tall level. If you're using a tall block, make sure it's a wooden or a cork block, not a foam block, because they're a little bit flimsy. And then either keep your legs bent or extend your legs. Extend your legs, keeping your heels on the floor for Setu Bandha. Have the highest block higher as possible. And then you can always elevate your feet like Anya is doing. Also, you can always elevate your feet with a bolster or some blankets. Do you want your feet elevated? Okay, good. So again, roll the thighs in, have your toes upwards. And just lengthen the buttocks flesh as the tailbone gets pulled in. Flex those feet. Yeah, Tadasanize the feet. Outer thighs to the inner thighs. You can turn the palms upwards. Circulate the armpit chest. Relax the sides of your neck and your jaw. Softer, smoother breaths. Yeah, see if you can make a lower block there, Miriam, and then you can maybe straighten your legs. Yeah, straighten the legs. Keep reaching the legs outwards. Let your front body open. We've been doing a lot of work now. Today was understanding our forward bends and the relationship of learning to forward bend and the groins, right? So now open the front body. Bring your legs into Baddha Konasana, and you might need to adjust the height of your brick. Bring your feet as close to the pelvis as you can, and the outer edges of your feet are on the floor. So Baddha Konasana. That's it. Spread those inner groins. Are you doing this on a regular basis? This will really help your hips. How does it feel? Is it okay? Yeah, yeah. This is so good also, Kathy, for your hips. Yeah, I hope you can feel that. I think you can. It's a balance, isn't it? So we take the body in a direction and then we kind of balance it out towards the end. And then bring your legs back together. Lift up your hips, take the block out and go for Shavasana. Push away any props you don't need to touch. You just have, if you need some support under your thighs, if your lower back feels at all sensitive, just take some support under the backs of your thighs, maybe even a chair. Would you like a chair? Okay. And just have the back of your neck long. Bring your feet as wide as the mat. Bring your arms just a little bit wider. Set yourself up. We don't have 15 minutes left, but as if you could stay for like 15 minutes and you could just be quiet and still. Just release your legs from your hips, release your arms from your shoulders. Let your sacrum be balanced on the floor there. Feel your shoulder blades on your back. Soften your face, your facial muscles that give you all of the facial expressions. That's it. Just let loose. That's it. Let loose your lips and your tongue and your jaw. Let your eyes settle back. Relax the very back of your tongue down. Give yourself this time to let go, to relax, and to release. Just see if you can relax a little bit more. And bring your hands onto your abdomen. Deepen your breath. Bend your legs and roll to your right side. And take your time and come up and sit any way that feels good. And bring your hands to your heart center. Raise your chest upwards. And just be grateful for whatever you could do today. Just be grateful for whatever you could do. It took me years and years to condition my hamstrings, and it's taken me years and years to understand and begin to condition my groins. It takes a while. be patient, be loving. Let's chant Om Shanti Om. Om. Shanti. Om. Raise your chest, bow your head down. May peace come to us all, our loved ones, and this world. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Thank you, everybody at home. Thank you so much.